And then you got to tell your wife that you like the attention you're getting. And I'm just like,
that's true. Yeah.
I don't put that energy out. I don't really get this sort of attention from women. Like,
I might challenge you a little bit and say that if you were on a platform more, out in the public square more, out in that thing, you would probably get more.
Ruslan.
Most guys aren't intentionally looking to usurp accountability to authority in their life, right? Like, and that's, again, that's why I think some of this stuff is so disingenuous in the way it's framed, is it's framed as everyone is a Brian Houston and a Carl Lentz. And the reality is that though they're actually the outliers. It's just when something bad happens, it gets amplified and blown up because it's good media.
For sure.
It's interesting stories. People love watching car wrecks.
They do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People like watching this stuff. And so it's like, but that is not the average. There's a lot of guys that are gonna lead faithful ministries and that you're never gonna hear about.
You never hear about that.
And they're gonna have a church of a couple hundred or a couple thousand, and they're gonna serve Jesus and they're gonna lead their church and 100%. They're gonna marry and bury people, and they will never have a national platform.
Nope.
It's the, I don't know, 100 or so that have shipwrecked their freaking lives that become the news.
And when we have to, as church culture, especially for those that do have those national platforms, we have to have a grace or because, you know, like, I think about like Judah Smith and, you know, regardless of what people think of him or his theology or any of that stuff, you know, like he's been pretty open and honest about, like, him and his wife have had really honest conversations about things. And, you know, whether, I mean, I won't get into it, but, like, you know, it's on podcasts. You can listen to all that stuff. And they got flayed for it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, to be fair,
but
this man was talking about using masturbation as a gift.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that point. That's not what I'm talking about.
And I didn't flay him by myself. I brought on a pastor who pastors a church, and then let him.
I wasn't talking about that
cool,
point. I wasn't,
because that was a little wild.
Yeah, that's a little
when
wild.
He jumped out the window with that.
Yeah,
one.
he went.
We see masturbation as a great gift from the Lord.
I don't know.
Like, what are we talking about, bro?
But
Judah's a great guy. I've met Judah before.
Oh yeah,
a sweet guy. In that circle was genuinely like a pretty normal dude.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's the thing. I think where he was honest about how he would say, like, I find this woman attractive. I like the attention she's giving me. He would tell his wife that, and he said that stuff publicly. Yeah, and people are like, oh, what the heck, man? Should you? I mean, where at least he's being public and open with it. Yeah, I mean, he's not leaning into it. He's not giving into it. The reason why he's not leaning into it and giving into it is because he's brought it to the light. At least I'm hoping he's not, right? Yeah. You know, because sin dwells in darkness. That's good. So all it takes is Carl one time going like, man, if anyone finds out about this, man, how many lives is that going to shipwreck here in New York? Yeah, I got to keep that quiet. And then sin festers. Yeah, and it festers. Yep. And all of a sudden, you're driving over to some chick's house at midnight, doing tequila shots with her. Yeah. And then hooking up. Yeah.
Yuck. Ah, man. Hey, you want to see something kind of crazy? Over 75% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing and turning your bell notification on so that you don't miss anything we have going here. Here's what I think, and you tell me what you think about this. I think that there's a certain element that gets communicated to attract that type of attention from women. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Like, I've been a very public figure for a number of years. I've maybe gotten 2 sus DMs from girls.
Okay.
This is not stuff that I find this girl attractive and I like the attention she's giving me, is never a thought that's ever crossed my mind.
Okay.
You know, and maybe I'm just not a good looking guy. You know, like maybe it's just not me, but I think there's something deeper to it. I do think that there are certain guys that put out kind of like Christian hoe energy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they get it, you know, and then they're like, well, if the Lord hadn't made me so good looking, you know, and then you got to tell your wife that you like the attention you're getting. And I'm just like,
that's true. Yeah.
I don't put that energy out. I don't really get this sort of attention from women. Like I can sit around after an event and talk to hundreds of people and like you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's flashing the D route, you know, maybe it's, you know, I'm just being frank. And I don't know if this is something you experience as a pastor. Like, is a difference between an attractive woman being friendly and like, oh, these are actual innuendo. I've never gotten actual innuendos. I honestly, I think there's been, and I show you my phone, like there's hundreds of DMs.
Sure.
I think I've maybe gotten one weird one with like a girl sending me a selfie. Okay. And I was just like, this is weird. That's weird. Yeah. Delete, you know? But help me think through this, because the guys that say like, I'm getting all this attention, I'm like, well, are you putting out, are you communicating anything that would gravitate their sort of attention where stuff gets flirty? And because I think the flip side to this is like men just don't interact with women at all.
Right.
That's also weird.
That's weird.
You know what I mean? Because I think there's a lot of value that women could have and perspective that women could have. So I don't know. What do you think?
Which it's interesting. I've known a lot of pastors who are not attractive, who get a lot of, like, get weird notes from women. They get like, you know, even stalkers, and stuff. Because again, it comes back to that thing of people are attracted to a platform. I might challenge you a little bit and say that if you were on a platform more, out in the public square more, out in that thing, you would probably get more personal interaction, right?
Yeah, because if there's 50 people every week I'm talking to, 100 people every week I'm talking to, that just increases the odds of that potentially happening. Yeah. So
I think that's part of it. So whether they're putting out an energy or not, but I do think though in a weak moment that the energy that they're throwing towards you, especially if things are rough at home, that's a wow. You think I'm?
You think I'm something?
You think I'm something?
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I would say that, but I think it's important though to set up those boundaries, right? I bring my wife on stage with me every week.
Yeah.
And she says something, and
because you're not putting out Christian Ho energy.
I'm trying. I'm not. I didn't major in that, so I majored in theology, not Christian Ho energy. And so people in my circles know how much I love my wife.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
And her and I are incredibly intentional about making sure that we are good.
Yep.
You know what I mean.
Yep.
So that way, like, man, Christian Ho energy, I think it's dangerous. I think it's all over the place, though. Really, I do, man. I do, because you know, I mean, people are people.
People are people, man.
People are people,
and people are weird, and people are complicated, and people are confusing.
They are.
But yeah, and like what you said about like if home life is good, which I think then that really has to be a priority for a pastor, you know?
Yeah.
Or anyone in influence who's a Christian,
sure.
really. You know what I mean? It's like prioritizing that.
Like Jeremy Foster, the whole thing.
Yeah.
You dig into his home life, not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.